I think we're live, Simon. Look, it's a kind of hot topic. Some people like to invest in metropolitan areas. Some people prefer regional. But I heard a lot about talking about regional may not be the best choice if you have other options. So as someone know you've been very particular on to invest in the metro area. So I want to pick your brain about why it may not be a good choice to invest in regionals.
Yeah,
For
sure.
myself, I don't have a preference which one's better, but I just want to hear from you as an expert. You've been buying how many years now? Over 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years as around 10 years as a buyer's agent,
Yeah.
20 years for myself. I mean, nothing I say is really based on opinion. It's based on just what I have seen and have experienced
Mm.
in various markets, in what tends to perform the most, and also what's also sustainable as well.
Yeah.
And I should preface this by saying that not all regional areas are the same, right? It's not like you're either in a regional area or you're either in a metro or a capital city.
Yeah.
For example,
Sure. Look, so I think it's probably better if we can clarify how do you define metro? How do you define regional?
look, in Australia, you've got five big capital cities. You've got
Yes.
Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide. I would say anything that is not within relative proximity to these five big cities, I would consider regional. So, for example, if we're looking at Sydney, you know,
Mm.
it's interesting because as a city grows, what is considered regional isn't regional anymore. So when Eric, you and I grew up in Sydney, Newcastle or the Central Coast would have been considered a regional area. But during the past 15 years, a lot of that gap has closed because of population growth and gentrification and a lot of pockets in between Sydney and Newcastle becoming more normal for Sydney-siders to live and potentially commute to the city, a couple of days a week or even every day, every week
Mm.
to work and so on. Um, but I do feel like these areas still carry a degree of risk in terms of long-term sustainable growth, right? And a regional area for me would be like a city or a town that's completely on its own. You know, for example, Mudgee, or Orange or Tamworth. Or at the moment, a lot of people are talking about Gladstone, Mackay, um, Townsvilles, and your Rockhamptons and so on.
Mm.
I approach these areas with a degree of caution. The bottom line as to where property growth happens consistently and sustainably is always driven by population growth and demand.
Yeah, okay, sure. Look, so what ask you from different angles? Say when we talk about regionals, okay, it's not in one basket. Like you
Yeah,
said before, it would be different tiers,
yeah,
different kind of group, right? Let's say the big kind of major city, like you mentioned about Newcastle, Wollongong, in
mm,
Queensland, probably Toowoomba. This kind of thing is still going okay. Well, they're not bad actually. I was thinking the price still okay. The rental yield is pretty good.
100%,
Mm,
100%. Look, I've got properties in the Lake Macquarie region,
mm,
right, and I haven't sold yet. So I'm obviously still very confident in the future prospects of these areas. But no, no, you can't draw you can't, I guess, tarnish all cities or all regional areas with the same brush,
mm,
right? Because Newcastle and Wollongong are different beasts now.
mm,
The reason why Newcastle and Wollongong has grown so much is really because Sydney grew so much.
mm.
And as the urban sprawl and population grew bigger and bigger, people had no choice. Well, I wouldn't say they had no choice, but they maybe found a better lifestyle, up in Newcastle or down in Wollongong, a little bit quieter, bigger houses, a little bit more affordable.
Mm,
And if they had to commute to work in the city, in the CBD, a little bit longer, but a bit of a compromise in
mm,
comparison, right?
yeah.
Um, I mean, I think Tasmania is a very good example. Remember during COVID, every man and his dog was buying up in Hobart and various parts of Tasmania. All the buyers agents and property spookers were spooking Hobart and all that kind of stuff. And even then, I was kind of scratching my head because I don't know anyone that can move to Hobart tomorrow. Like,
Well,
who can up and go and move to Hobart and live a sustainable life there unless you work for government or unless you work, you know, like an oyster farmer or something.